Hello and welcome to SuperMouse. SuperMouse is built after a traveling roller coaster owned by a Dutch showman, and I actually worked there for a short period of time. Basically what I did, I never actually constructed the ride, but what I did was stood in the station and then I would grab the tickets and help people into the coaches and close the black bars. And sometimes I would open the bars, the restraints at the back of the roller coaster station. And so this ride is actually quite dear to me. I had a lot of fun building it. I tried to get all the aspects that I can memorize from the real ride in this blueprint. Because at the period of time that I worked there, I took a lot of pictures of all the supports and the flooring and some other details, so I was able to make a pretty accurate recreation of the real deal. So let's first take a ride on this roller coaster, and then we'll look at some of the details, and we'll probably take another ride at night because it's really pretty in the dark. I can probably skip a train. Oh, that's the wrong direction. Oh, my bad. So once the new people board, we're just about ready to leave. There we go. We go up the lift, and there's like flags and lights alongside it. Just like the real ride. And off we go. These really tight corners, they make the coach lean a little bit, so it feels like you're falling off the track, but you can't, of course. The first tiny drop. And the big drop. A little bunny hill. And now here comes the fun. Let's spin. Now the Spin and Planet Coaster is not as violent and fast as I remember the real ride to be, but it's still pretty authentic to the real deal. There's a little bunny hill coming up. And this would really make you fly in real life, especially when it was raining. The coaches would go so fast around the track. And then we're back at the final brakes. And this is where you get returned to zero. Yep. That's it. So that's the ride. So let's take a look at night. And here it is at night. There's a lot of lights on this coaster. There's even the sign on the top. And in real life, the lights alongside the lift, there would be a little toggle sensor at the bottom of the lift, and when a coach comes up the lift, it would actually draw arrows and light up alongside the coach as it went up. There's lights on the train, the station. Little lights, little arches. We even have a on-ride photo. And of course a pay box. And a on-ride photo booth to buy your pictures at. So let's take a ride at night. See how this goes. Oops, wrong direction again. Just in time. Now this coaster looks really pretty at night. All the lights. And the flags alongside the lift. Let's go, SuperMouse. Small drop. And the big drop. With the bunny hop. Yep. Now while I was building this ride, I of course had to ride it myself a couple of times to see how it felt. And I couldn't believe how authentic it felt to the actual ride. It brought back so many memories. I'm so happy how it turned out to be. So most of the details are in there. I had to do some concessions here and there, but it generally is a pretty accurate recreation of the real deal. And we are back. Let's get some pretty shots of this ride while we do a pan around. And it just lights up beautifully in the dark. And again, there's so many lights that make it look so real. I'm actually a bit speechless about this ride because it just looks so pretty. It's really accurate to the real deal. So let's actually show you all these details I put in there by plonking down another one, because this is actually the original one. So let's get a new one. I'll show you some of the features you can do with this blueprint. So when you spawn it in, sink it into the ground. So you just sink in that grey beam, or actually the floor plan, the flooring. That should just sink into the ground, and then you should be all fine. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. So let's start off with the pay box. The pay box is a bit of a free interpretation of the real deal, but I mean, it's Planet Coaster, and just for reasons, I wouldn't actually recreate the original pay box. Would be a bit sketchy if I would do so. And then of course the second thing, the other pay box for the on-ride photos. Now, I don't actually remember having worked at this roller coaster when we had a on-ride photo, but I know that sometimes it did have one. So I did include an on-ride photo, just for the hell of it, really. And then you have the actual entrance is actually up here in real life, and you would hand out your ticket to the guy operating the ride, take a seat, and then we'd launch you on the track. And the exit was actually on this side, as indicated by the sign, I guess. Now the floor plan is actually pretty accurate. I managed to find a brochure, because the only thing I couldn't remember well from when I worked there was the floor plan, so I found a brochure of the actual ride, which included the floor plan. And that allowed me to align all the supports and vice versa. Now in real life, this lift is based on a I-beam structure, and would have some decorations on the motor would be in this building, and also the computer, which controls the ride. And I decided to decorate it a little bit So you got the warning high voltage sign on there, and a little grate to let out the heat from the motor, and all the controls. Then let's continue on to the lift. As I said before, in real life there would be a little sensor or toggle at the bottom which would control these lights alongside the catwalk, and they are actually little arrows, and they would go up with the coach as it went up the lift. There's also the little arches that go over the lift, quite pretty. There's a bunch of flags alongside it. Let's go SuperMouse. And that's all they really say. Then there's also the sign with some flags on it. And now the beautiful thing about this sign is that you can actually place it in two directions. So when the ride would be facing, like if the fairground would be on this side and the people would approach it from here, they would see the sign like this. But sometimes it was placed sideways and the sign would actually be rotated 90 degrees on the front two posts, and it would actually, you would actually see the ride from this angle. That's quite clever. Then there's this trusting structure with this really weird supports. It also had a lot of lights in it, lighting up the ride at night. And of course the big drop with a double up. And then in real life right here where these brakes are would be a little toggle which would actually enable the coaches to spin, which was a purely mechanical toggle. Really clever design. And then we go down, a little bunny hop, final turn, and then the brakes. And then over here we would actually place the, we could actually store some of the coaches if they were needed. Some repairs, or if we didn't need them because it wasn't busy enough. This was actually a transfer track. We could just roll it over my hand and then push the coaches back onto this track and store it there. Now, this is SuperMouse as the SuperMouse is, as I remember it. But what if you'd like to download this blueprint and actually not have it as a SuperMouse? Well, I thought of that. I'm not gonna make a separate blueprint, but you can actually just remove elements of the ride. So let's say, for example, you don't like these banners on the left, you can just click on them. And if you're curious how that works, underneath the station there's little signs and posts that control all these little things. So let's say we want to remove the flag, we just click them and then we delete them. Easy as that. Let's say you don't like the canopy over the station, which is this front part, because it's a bit too funfair-like to your liking, and you want to have like a park model. Just delete it. Not a big issue. Don't like the lift lights or the arches? Screw them. And I think you can also do that with the lift lights. Yep, that's it. You can remove those as well. So we're really undressing this ride. Now the only thing you can't separately remove is the flags from the sign. So if you want to remove these flags, you have to do it manually. Thinking about it, we could probably rotate that sign and see how that works. So let's just select it and we rotate it. Now I got angle snap on. And we bring it out. Nope. No, out. Oops, my bad. Let's try that again. Oh, I did it again. Rotate it. And then we bring it over to these two posts. And then this is the middle, so we try and align it so that it's the same on both sides. I think that looks pretty good. Might want to drag it. Oh, actually, it's. Wow, that's spot on. Amazing. Yeah. So that's how you rotate the sign around. You could place it over there. Don't like the on-ride photo? delete it. Away with it. Are the lights chugging a bit on your PC, or you just don't like it? You can click the light boxes and delete them. Now that does make the ride a bit dark, but I mean, it's quite a difference, right? Just delete them if you don't like them. Now what else do we have? We have a ticket booth. So we can remove the ticket booth if we want to. And then the last things are the flooring. If you don't like the flooring, you can remove that if you so desperately want to. Now, I don't like it without the flooring. Authenticity, right? Of course, you can remove the sign if you want to, or create your own sign. And you can also remove the supports. And I don't see why you would want to do that. Pooh. So yeah, that's SuperMouse. Have fun and happy planet coaster building. Bye bye.